you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And we originally had a different idea for a topic, but a lot of stuff happened between last week and this week. So
No shot.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
No. Who would have thunk on a company that streams weekly that would, have stuff
I,
to
for
say.
one, am shocked.
Right. That wasn't
really
even
did.
the Tuesday stream. That was a New Year's stream they were doing.
To me, it just seemed like, all right, I associate the stream with the beginning of the week, and it was sometime between Sunday and Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, but they also have Thursday streams.
I don't watch the streams. Do you understand? I just go to our Discord where there's like an auto posting bot where I can just see what happened and then move on with my life. I'm sorry. I'm not as cool as you might think. I may have a Nexus Core sweatshirt, but I'm not as cool as you think. I'm sorry. So,
It's too bad.
All right. Well, let's look at what happened because got a lot of things to chew through here. So, there we go. Starting off, they're reprinting stuff to begin with. Yeah.
Wow.
Special reprints from DBT04 in Triple R foil.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're getting new versions of Trick Moon, Brainwash Swirler.
Finally.
Yeah. Some cards that don't matter, and Inlet Pulse.
Yeah. I like so for the Brandgate and the Cater Sanctuary one, I think they just picked Triple Rs. Because they wanted
no,
to
that is
keep
exactly
that
what happened, is that they decided that they were only reprinting cards from set 4, and so they looked at Brant and Keter and were like, what triple Rs that were in set 4? And then they just reprinted them.
I mean, I'm not going to complain. Brainwash Swirler and Inlet Pulse needed this real bad. So I'll take the win. I don't care that Painkiller Angel and Bubble Mine haven't gotten reprinted, or
there are like a
Forktail.
million other cards that. What even is the card they reprint? Okay, so Cardinal Draco Masuria, retire Shadow Army, gets 10k until end of turn, and if you activated it for the third time, it also gets a crit. That card is nobody plays this card.
Nope.
And then Cornbach. Let's see. Full Blast 1, rest it. Look at top 3, choose a grade 3 or greater with a different name from this unit, call it, and put the rest on bottom. Wow, these suck.
It's not a big deal. I think if they're going to do, let's do a bunch of double R reprints or whatever, or they take a bunch of stuff from DBT01.
I mean, they could have just, like, not gone with a theme, right? Like, they could have just reprinted cards as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't... Okay, Trick Moon probably needed a reprint just for, like, what's it called? Bob Sagra decks. I don't think Dragon Empire really has a big generic card that it cares about right now.
Forktail, what's the guy that, like, when you discard him, it goes into Soul? But those are both double Rs, so it... Yeah. It
People aren't really
matter.
even using that. Yeah, people aren't even really using the other one anymore.
I guess
like
not.
Dragonic Overlord just has a better discard target.
Mm-hmm. When we talked about this on our Twitter, some people were pointing out, like, oh, they need to reprint Falcate, the cat that just came out in DBT07.
Yeah, that one
just came out. It just came out. Relax. Maybe in the future. Good. Yes, good. It just came out. Calm your tits. But yeah, Brainwash Swirler.
It's also gone down a bit. It's only $8 now instead of like $13.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the right amount of time before you start going, okay, you can reprint that now?
I'd give it at least like 2 or 3 sets. Like, long enough that most stores would have probably gone through their original stock already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and anything that was kind of left over is just like not super relevant or not moving too much anymore.
So not even like amount of time, not like 6 months a year. It's like sets that you're going by.
I mean, we kind of measure time by like how many sets go by, but like.
Oh, good. All right, so it's like LA measuring how far traffic is by time, not distance.
Oh yeah, because like obviously, as like new cards are released, like the market will change. New cards come in demand, or some older cards may become more relevant with new support, and so, you know, if it's been some length of time, so I'd say like 2-3 sets usually is how much time it takes cards to generally like cycle around. Because that's kind of what they've been doing recently. Is like they got like two main sets to go along with the anime, and then you have like a Craycross set and Lyrical, and I guess like Festival Collection too. So I feel like every cycle of support they could just like reprint some older cards if they're still in demand.
And I think Brainwash Swirler is the one that like benefits from this the most, because it is quite literally preventing you from playing almost any Dark States deck.
I mean, Inlet Pulse is pretty up there. Inlet Pulse is also in everything.
Inlet Pulse is in everything, but there are ways to get around it, whereas Brainwash Swirler, you're kind of stuck with them. There's not really a thing that goes like, oh, for every 2 cards you put in, you get 5. Like, there's not really like a budget version. Flag Bird notwithstanding, because it's not technically generic, but yeah. So, yeah. Hooray for reprints. A Bang Green set collab card. Why? Do we care?
I don't know.
Depends on how relevant those cards are, but Bang Dream is a Bushiroad property, so they can just like cram them into it.
That's true.
The Vanguard.
Right. So it's like when I had you guys on Bad Reading when I was still doing that show. I could just cram you guys in whenever I wanted to. Festival Collection or Festival Boost for 2023. I didn't quite get what the whole deal is, where the pre-sale is April 29th, and then May 12th is the full release. So like the sneak peek.
Yeah, I would suppose so.
Yeah, I suppose that would be the case. Like pre-release would be the 29th, and then like a couple weeks later is going to be the full release.
It's about 2 weeks later, which makes me think something's up.
Yeah. See, this is why we need to learn Japanese and watch the streams so we can understand better what the going on.
I knew it was a bad idea to take French in college. Although Japanese was pretty full up most of the time, wasn't it? All the weeps took it.
True.
Yeah.
And then if I were to take Japanese class, I would want to like hide the fact that I was a weeb.
Good luck. You're in Japanese class, so.
I was going to say, I feel like you'd have an easier time hiding it than someone like me or Matt would.
I don't know. I wouldn't be convinced, personally.
What, that he wasn't a weeb?
Yeah.
But also,
50-50 shot.
The cover cards here are pretty interesting. We have some like Prey Elemental looking dudes.
Yeah, it looks like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet up in there. Just the two opposite creatures, and so who's to say what that's going to look like? Keep an eye out.
Last festival collection actually was pretty big. It introduced like the retrains for Orphist and Zorga, so seems like they're not like completely against just printing really ridiculous festival collection cards.
I'm not complaining. I'm just curious to what it's going to be, because I don't think you'd put this in like Dragon Empire and Stoicheia based on the art. It just kind of looks like it could be anything.
Yeah.
It's Vermilion. Retrain? No, I'm just kidding.
We're getting the Vermilion encounter early.
Oh, God. Let's see. The DBT-10 got teased. Got another new Virina on the front there.
Yep.
True.
Okay, so booster pack dedicated for premium and V reprints is in development.
Just in time to sunset the formats. I actually have no idea. I'm just talking out of my ass, but it'd be pretty
I know.
funny.
I mean, premium they cannot sunset. That would be a disaster for this game, unless they were planning to just end Vanguard, which is not happening for at least until 2025. But we'll get to
Spoiler
that
alert.
Yeah, which we'll get to, but like, yeah, like this has been needed for a while. V has kind of gotten by just on like the V collections being so tiny, and they can just kind of shove a bunch of reprints into it, but
Mhm.
that still has the problem of the VR policy, which should be ending this year. So we will see if they actually like do it, right? Like if they actually start reprinting VRs.
If you want to know more about the VR policy, check out Root Beer's video about that time Luard almost killed Vanguard on our channel.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That did happen.
Yeah. And then also in DBT09, they're reprinting the effect triggers again.
Sure. You can
Which
have
I'm not complaining about.
except the lyrical one, right?
Yeah, because Lyrical's
yeah,
like not here, but I assume they're just going to do that in the next Lyrical set.
You assume.
Look, the fact that they did this without people being like, you need to reprint the effect triggers again, because they did it once and people were like, yeah, good. And then they did it again with us having to ask them for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, this is just something they should be doing like every couple of sets, right? Like they have one set where they have normal triggers for anyone who's just getting into the game that needs normal triggers. And then they should just reprint the effect triggers, because why not?
Yeah, and then that also means you have more of them in your store's common box and your friend's common box at home. Like, there's more of them in circulation.
Yeah. Like cards like this should not be expensive. I've already said this before many times, but like this is something you should be able to just get for like $1, right?
Definitely.
So these are just things that should be reprinted constantly and be in wide circulation, because they are basically mandatory if you're running those trigger types. Like, if you're gonna run front triggers, why are you not running the strictly better front trigger? Same with, like, draws. Crits is debatable, although I guess, like, even though you don't use the skill, it is a skill that you have, so, like, you should just run the one that's better all the time, right? So, these better cards should just be available, especially because triggers are so fundamental to deck building.
You're forced to it.
Yeah.
Stuck with the 16. All right.
So this is just kind of a schedule recap. So we're getting set 9 in February. We're in the current reveal cycle for that. After that, we're going to be getting the Messiah Stride list, so we'll probably be seeing reveals for that, you know, after this set is done. And then we're going to start seeing things for BT10. And then it's going to be Festival Collection, and I don't know.
Something online?
I cannot read the moon runes. I do not know what that last one is.
Look, I'm just saying that the Messiah Stride set is probably going to kill Standard for everybody. He said based on nothing.
I don't think so, just because, like, the way they've designed blocking, it gets, like, you just get rid of them. Binding them is annoying because you can't get them back, but, like, it's still better than having your field clogged up by locked cards.
Yeah. It's less about that and more about the whole, like, Stride, you know.
I mean, Chrono's just already doing that. I don't think Messiah is going to be all that much stronger. Especially because, like, I don't think the Messiah deck list is going to be able to use as many generic cards as Chronojet can.
That's true. Doesn't have? I guess the crest is a set order though, so you can probably. Is that a set order?
No, it's not. The crest is its own thing.
Okay. Yeah, the crest is completely outside of the game. There's no, you can't even like interact with it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, if it was a set order, they'd be fine. They could just.
Not even a player who has it can interact with it.
Yeah.
They're just kind of limited by it.
It just is. It. You know.
Yeah. It just is.
Yeah, it just is. Like, you get the crest and it's just there.
We're also, at least in DBT09, we're getting more Bruce support, which, like, Bruce for the most part, like, has gotten the occasional thing. Outside of the restanding Raid 4 one, it hasn't really had a lot of love. So
it has. It just got, like, new cards in the last. But
it's
like Julian.
But it's like nothing really of note. Like, it hasn't. I don't know.
It's still like top tier in there. It's not like the deck has completely disappeared or anything.
Kind of
Like
feels
they've been
this.
they've been pretty consistent about supporting like Final Rush. I think set 7 didn't have anything, but prior to that, like they've been pretty good about just like supporting Bruce a lot.
It just kind of feels meh to me, for whatever reason. Let's see. There's also the revelation that D series is it's going until 2025.
Yeah. So I did want to talk about this one because, like, so we are currently on season 4. They have 9 seasons lined up for D. So this does give some level of security for the game, right? Because the game's probably not dying until the anime is over with. So we are guaranteed at least 2 more years of Vanguard, and also it means because they are specifically saying that Overdress is having 9 seasons, that means we are more or less staying the course that we are now, right? Because that's about in line with how the original anime shook out, right? Like Aichi and all of those characters didn't get cycled out for a good like 4 years or so. It was like 2012. Stride was like 2015, 2016.
About that lands. Yeah, I kind of hope. I don't know if they're gonna once that ends, if they're gonna start over again. Like, all right, we're rebooting the game again, or they move on to a new anime, or they go back to I don't know, whatever it is that they do. But I hope that maybe they don't need to use the anime to design the card game.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, that's what they've been doing. They don't necessarily like need to. Like they have their own lore. Yu-Gi-Oh is able to design archetypes outside the anime, although the anime still does exist, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I think these days, the Yu-Gi-Oh anime is focusing on Rush Duel format, and they're still just making main set cards.
Making main set cards, and then what?
They're making like main series cards, sorry, and then Rush Duel is its own thing.
Yeah. And then Rush Duel isn't in the States, right? It's just
no, it's not. They just have not released Rush Duel in the West, despite most people agreeing that Rush Duel is just better than actual Yu-Gi-Oh.
Really?
I don't think people would agree right now. I think people generally like this format. For what it is.
Yeah, but just the general state of Rush Duels. Like Rush Duel cards are definitely more comprehensible. Just like the formatting of cards.
Yeah. Because it's not 20 years of gunk being added onto it.
No, like the card. No, like the way the cards are like formatted as a card.
Oh.
Are like more readable.
Gotcha. Yu-Gi-Oh cards are like there's a lot of wasted space, definitely.
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards are fucking incomprehensible.
I need my reading glasses. Anyway, so we have 9 seasons. We got a few more years of Overdress, and we know what the time. Like, it's nice that for example, a TV show like Gravity Falls, where they go, okay, I'm doing 3 seasons. That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the end of the 3rd season. They know how to wrap the story up. It's done. You move on. It's not like a thing where they're like, oh, we got renewed. Fuck. We got to write another season, Yeah.
Legion arc.
Yeah, Legion arc is the season 9 scrubs of Vanguard. No, so yeah, I find great security in this revelation of knowing that there's 9 arcs and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And just like generally staying the course with this current card design, I doubt they're going to do anything super crazy because I have started to notice a pattern in how they're supporting things recently, where they'll make like a couple of sets of support to go along with the current season of the anime. That's about 12 episodes, so 3 months, 1 core. So that usually covers like 2 sets plus some sort of side thing. Right now it's going to be the Messiah list and like the festival collection. So then we're probably going to get like Craycross and Lyrical, because that comes in that like 3-month gap between the end of the first season and then when the next part is going to start.
Okay.
And so that's when we're gonna get like Craycross, and that's also when I would expect any like relevant reprints for the Craycross cards to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the next product announcement in like April, I think is probably going to be. That's when the next quarter starts, right? So that would probably be like a Craycross set with encounter cards and all that. Is probably going to be like DBT 11. And then we're going to have some lyrical set sometime in between because they have a lyrical set.
They usually put that out in the summer, right?
Yeah, like summer and like winterish. Yeah, and then like I wouldn't be surprised around like June, July when season 5 is going to start or I guess season 4 of Wildress, but season 5 overall, like they would announce more like main sets. So DBT 12 will be a main series set again with like Bruce and everybody.
Right.
Like that's the pattern I'm seeing, and starting from around set 5 is when that happened, I think, because that's when they first introduced Craycross. We got the well-dressed cards with the new TDs, set 6, set 7, 8 is encounter cards, and then now for this season, 9 and 10, we know are going to be for this general time frame, and then the festival collection, and we don't have anything after that. I believe that, like, May period, they're probably going to do, like, Premium and B.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it's possible that, like, BT11 will actually come around in July when the next season is about to start, so that could actually just be another main set.
I guess we'll have to see, because I don't know.
But yeah, that's kind of the like pattern I've started to notice, so we'll see if that pattern holds true and how it influences card design, but I doubt there's going to be any major new mechanics for a while just because of like how this is going to shake up.
I'm okay with that, to be honest. The fact that they two out of the 3 of their formats were like fairly decently balanced based on what we had, I'll take that as a win.
Yep.
Matt, what do you think about it?
Yeah. It's probably okay. I would like to see like some, how to say, I want to believe going forward, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
X-Files. Yeah.
It's just, we'll see. I'm just not convinced as it stands.
Not convinced something stupid isn't going to happen? Or
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on with like the Dragon Tree stuff, because we have been getting those random triple Rs that are like corrupted nation cards, right? Is this going to be like our Link Joker arc where cards get reversed?
Ah, son of a bitch, not again. Let's see, another freaking OT for Lyrical.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like this thing that looks like Over the Garden Wall?
This thing is awesome.
That card is awesome, but no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the weird triple Rs.
Okay, but Root Beer, it's blushing. Okay.
He's a little pumpkin guy.
He is a little pumpkin guy. Bistelvas.
Yeah. This was just the first one I ran into. There are other ones, but like, when it's placed, you can counterblast one, choose a rear guard without any Dragon Tree markers, put a marker on it, and then you can grab like a normal order. I know there was ones for the other nation. There it is, Fallen of the Dragon Tree. Where that one has the same thing going for it, where you make a Dragon Tree marker, and then when something is placed in the same column, counterblast one, draw a card. So I believe we saw these in the preview for set 9, and then the set in English is called Dragon Tree Invasion, and I know we had a version of it that had this big demon tree on it. The one right now is like Bruce, but
yeah.
Find that picture? No, it's not here. Oh well. But yeah, we have these like corrupted looking nation cards that go on that have this Dragon Tree mechanic. So I am curious where that is leading, and whether or not that will lead to like reverse units in the same way that Link Joker did the first time around.
It seems so cliche at this point.
A little bit, yeah. But
But
they gotta get the plot going somehow.
yeah.
So I'll be curious to see where that leads to and what the Calamity card and the Dragon Tree is gonna be.
Yeah, the Calamity stuff is interesting because it doesn't seem to do anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of search each other and that's it. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
And
then
I am still speculating that the Dragon Tree, whatever it is, will be a grade 4 eventually. We'll see if that pays off.
Yep.
Could
And now in the ultimate for the concept of the blended family.
Yes, the most recent reveals.
Oh my god! All right, so what were you gonna say?
Yeah, we can talk about these.
Yeah, what were you gonna say? Matt,
Was anyone else gonna?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. All right,
Okay.
so I can't go.
Do you want me to read them?
Go for it, because I'm enraged.
Okay, so Clad in Prayer. It is a normal order for Dragon Empire. If you have a Vanguard with Nirvana and one or more units each in Overdress and Cross-Overdress state, you can play it. Choose something in Overdress, give it auto once per turn when your Vanguard attacks, stand it. And then when choose one of your units in the Crossover state, and it gets 10k until end of turn.
Okay, so to those who don't know what's going on, they're trying to combine Overdress and Cross-Overdress into one deck.
Yes. But I think they want it still centered around Jiva.
Yeah.
So we have the Pierce equipped dragon Halbados. When it's placed on rearguard circle from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Nirvana's card name, counterblast 1. Put a card with Virina from drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Search top 5, grab a Virina, and reveal it. Add it to your hand. If you did not reveal a card, countercharge.
Okay.
And then the strike equipped dragon Stragalio. So when it's placed on rear from hand, if you have Vanguard with Nirvana, discard a card, search your deck for one card with crossover or one trick star, add it to your hand. And then when it becomes an original dress, counterblast 1, choose trick star from drop zone, call it to rearguard circle.
Technically, it's search card with Overdress, not Cross-Overdress.
Oh yeah,
or
one card
or a trick star.
Yeah, one card with the Overdress. So this one confuses me because regular Overdress does not need searchers. We already had Demona, but Crossover does not have a lot of searching ability right now, which sucks because it makes the deck less consistent and less resilient to removal for a deck that already minuses a lot for using its mechanic, more than regular Overdress. And this card is still designed to be crossovered, but it doesn't. It seems like they want you to put this in Cross-Overdress so that you can search out your regular Overdress cards and never stop to think about the fact that you don't really have a way to search regular or a way to search crossover cards. And the only generic Virina searcher is the grade 2 that they just introduced, which only searches your top 5, which means you're going to miss every single time you use it.
Hell yeah.
Unless your deck is a bunch of Virinas, which why would you?
I mean, well, your deck is a bunch of Virinas, but you're still just gonna miss just because. Especially in crossover, where you have to be playing a bunch of prayer dragons too, so you can't actually make your deck all Virinas.
Yep. And it seems to me that had they decided to do this from the get-go, where okay, we'll introduce Crossover Dress and then eventually make the crossover back over, they wouldn't have things like Virina Urder, who needs
that was in set 2.
Yeah,
that was in
needs,
set 2. This was before they decided to make set grade 4s.
Okay, but I'm saying
the problem is that crossover does not work with regular Overdress, and they kept changing the direction of how crossover was going to go, because set 6 crossover was basically just regular Overdress. You got guys that got really big and had offensive abilities. Set 7 started to take them in a more removal-based direction where you're controlling the board. And now they're trying to make you mash it with the original Overdress, which I think is probably going to be the direction going forward. So the hybrid lists are already dropping the set 7 support because you can't fit it in.
Is okay. So what really sucks about this order is that like that's kind of the only way to make the like a turn really go off. Aside from like just calling an arts and then leaving it at that, and then essentially waiting for this to show up. I'm not really sure how you would make both of them work together.
I don't even know. Well, yeah, like this card is how you make them work together, but also like how do you fit this card in here? You need to play like a reasonable amount of prayer dragons to crossover with. You also need all of the Virenas. Trickstar is automatically 4 slots in your deck.
Mm-hmm. And then now this is 4 copies, and it's a minus by itself. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Awesome.
There's like no way you play 3 copies of this, though, right? Or 4 copies of this.
Much less 3 copies. I don't think you could fit that in even.
Oh, are we? Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, like I think if you could resolve this card, like you could really pop off because your crossover units get huge and you're going to restand them. Regular overdress cards get huge on their own a lot of the time anyways, and then you can restand them. So you're going to make like a lot of attacks. They're all going to be huge. Just like, how do you make that deck work with so many moving parts?
So you need 2 Trick Stars, the overdress card, the Prayer Dragon, and then the crossover dress card and this.
Yep.
Yeah. So, good luck with your 6-card combo.
But when you're writing it in a show, you can just make them draw all of that, so it's okay.
Right, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. How do I guard, boss? You don't. That's the neat part. You don't.
Just kill them. You don't need a guard with their dad.
Yeah. And then, the grade 1, I think, does help just because it does search out like a regular overdress card when you play it. The grade 2 needing to cycle a Virena from drop zone annoys me. Do you ever feel like Bushiroad just puts costs on a card to put costs on them?
I believe so, and I believe that this may have come up in a past conversation. Oh, wait, all the fucking time. Yes! So
yeah, I feel like if the grade 1 did not have to cycle another Virena and could just search the top 5, it would be fine. They've made cards that do that before, that search deeper into your deck, actually. It's called Burning Horn Dragon. Does, like, the same thing. Also, there was that, like, Reitsuji from that supported the grade 4 Virena, where you can, like, counterblast, grab something from the drop zone, and then if your Vanguard is grade 4, you can countercharge.
I think so. The biggest tragedy of this entire thing is all the Virena players were like, "Give us countercharge. That's all we want. We don't need. You don't need to make them work together. Just countercharge, please." And they're like, "We'll give you countercharge. We're gonna make it hurt."
No, I mean this is not countercharging, right? This is just like if you fail, you get your resource back.
That would be the hurt I'm referring to. Yes. So RIP Virena players, I suppose, or crossover dress players.
Like this set of it seems very confused because they're just now trying to like mash it all together when the previous direction seemed to be like retire cards and clear your opponent's board. I think maybe set 10 when they probably make something that either overdresses or crossover dresses on top of existing crossover / overdress units. Might possibly just need a card in both states.
They really want your deck to just be like 8,000 Virena, don't they?
Yes, they do, but then they made the mechanic require cards that are not named Virena.
Well, you do.
It's like overdress is going through puberty.
Could be.
It's trying all this different stuff. Is this my identity? What am I?
Sounds about right.
God.
And then today's commons are just like prayer dragons that do things on the board. So like they're still prayer dragons if you need to crossover, but also if you're doing regular overdress, they can just be bodies. Like
wow, power plus 5,000, very cool.
Yeah. And then when you discard this card, if you have a Vanguard with Nirvana, you can like counterblast, Soul Blast to grab a Virena from drop.
Okay, so
why is that card grade 3?
When they started the crossover dress, if they began with cards that did like they're doing now, where they're like, if it's Nirvana, not blah 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 for Nirvana, not Chakrabarti, like the specific name. This would have been easier.
I don't think they have been doing that for this set of crossover cards. It's just the really old ones before they decided on grade 4s. Because they originally said the trial deck bosses were supposed to be not evergreen, but last a lot longer.
I mean, they did last a lot longer, I suppose.
Yeah.
Things like Bastion continues to be worth it for the most part. Like you do like a 4 and 2 thing. Magnolia it varies. Bruce, not
they
really.
Are printing a new Bruce.
Yeah, so that's kind of a it lasted 9 sets or 8 sets. Not bad.
Also, like people in set 6 were already going back to the grade 3 Bruce over the grade 4 anyways.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. And Seraph didn't. Seraph was out. Oh well. The grade 3 Seraph, I mean.
Yeah.
So, well, that's not, it's good. And then also, I think the grade 4 Nirvana is probably the best version of like any kind of overdress that the deck
People
has,
are still playing the grade 4 over any other version of overdress competitively.
Yes.
I think they are trying really hard to make people stop playing the grade 4. They have not supported it in like 3 sets, and people are just still on it.
They realized they made a mistake pretty quickly and took steps to try and backtrack from it, and I do have to give them credit for that instead of them doing like a death spiral where they're like, no, it's fine, everything's cool. We're going to leave it like that and give more, like, just...
It's like the drill tweet, issuing a correction for my last tweet about the terror group Bushiroad. I do not, in fact, under any circumstances, have to hand it to them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although, like, could you potentially play the grade 4 in Nirvana Jiva? Because I don't think because I don't think any of the crossover cards actually care about your Vanguard. They just care about being in crossover. It's just that the grade 4 didn't benefit from the crossover mechanic, but like if you're now having to play a bunch of overdress cards, but you could potentially like start just jamming the grade 4 back in. I don't think that's a good idea because Jesus Christ, deck space, but you can.
True.
Also completely unrelated, but there's like ways to do stuff in premium with it. Stunverse notwithstanding. Let's see. If you have a unit in overdress, so if you try and cram them together,
the only reason you wouldn't have done it before is because crossover didn't count. But if you're now trying to hybrid them, you could play the grade 4 again. I don't think you will because of space, but you can.
Also, that second effect allows you to get the second trick star that you need to do the thing if you want to.
All of them can call Trickstar from drop. The problem is just like searching out of the deck, which technically these new cards do that. I will give them credit. They do let you search Trickstar. That is something the deck needed. There was that Blaze Maiden promo, but you never had enough Blaze Maiden to make it work in Nirvana, so
yeah. It was a lot of new things to chew on, and I think for the most part it's good. I just really like riding on the trying to cram overdress and crossover dress back together.
What if somebody does it and it's sick? That'd be dope.
That would be dope.
If you manage to make it work, come on our show.
Like, I would want to try out the deck because like it's pretty easy to cram arcs. I think Expecta could be still used.
That's because Arcs is just a good card.
Yeah. Very, very.
It's pretty messed up that you can kind of one draw too.
But Virina Expecta is the one that's just like when it attacks a grade 3, if it's an overdress, you can counterblast 1, give it 15k and a crit, and at the end of battle, put all of its original dress into the drop.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that thing.
Like, that one could work. There was also Valiant from all the way back in set 1, where you can overdress on top of arcs to make use of it.
Or it just gets big, right? And then if you hit, you restand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, like Esper Arai does grade 4, so you can't make that work in Jiva. And I think Jiva is probably the play still.
Well, I guess to people listening or to people watching on YouTube, what's your plan for for this?
We talked a lot of shit, but like I would like to see the hybrid work out. Like I feel like the biggest problem is just deck space.
Yeah.
Like I think you probably have enough ways of like finding the various cards you need, because obviously if you're using the hybrid, you're just going to play the cards that search out all of the hybrid pieces.
So to that I say, in the comments below, how will you make that 6-card combo work? Make it happen. Yeah, leave a like and leave a comment below if you liked what you saw, or if you're listening to this on your podcast app of choice, maybe leave a review. Helps us get seen stuff. All that good stuff. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Thanks to Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR, and Ali for being $10 patrons. If you want to see more of us, we got a weekly bonus show, Nexus Tangents. 3 of us, sometimes guests. And we got, playmats, we got merch. At Nexus at Night on Twitter. Where can they find the rest of us?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram. Follow my other show at Generation Dan on Twitter, Generation_Dan on Instagram. It's also on any podcast app. And I know I'm shilling for technically our big brother or whatever, but wrong side. Nexus Core has like clothes and stuff too. And Richard just finished this, and it's a nice, comfy sweatshirt. So I'm not going to point you to the link, but it's go to their page, and he's got links for that.
They've put more effort into their merch than we have, probably.
Yeah, I didn't make any sweatshirts. I just did shirts and playmats. I should do more on that. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.